I'm Susan Ho. I'm from the Department of ABCT and I've been teaching at PolyU for 23 years now. I completed an undergraduate and master's degree in biology and my PhD is in physiology. The funny thing is that I never planned on pursuing a PhD or a teaching career. I find teaching to be very rewarding in that I get to see students reach their full potential, watch their progress even after they've attended class. Every student has their own unique perspective and ideas, which makes every year different and exciting. I teach physiology to about 500 students every year and other subjects such as microbiology, general biology, and lab techniques and safety. When I first began at PolyU, I was fortunate to have had the opportunity to develop a series of virtual interactive labs, which greatly enhanced student understanding of various laboratory techniques within the life sciences. Interactive learning software was a new concept at the time, and it proved to be a significant aid in providing students an alternative method of studying and preparing for their time in the laboratory. I try to bring energy, and being compassionate about my subject tends to be contagious. I try to stimulate students' curiosity by asking questions such as, how does the heart pump blood? If you eat too much salt, how does that increase blood pressure? Why is it not good to have high blood pressure? These types of open-ended, thought-provoking questions promote a much deeper and longer-term understanding of concepts in the life sciences. As students, they must take from numerous topics within the subject to address them accurately. Physiology, of course, is a bit easier to comprehend compared to some abstract subjects, as students can actually visualize the nervous system or the cardiovascular system, exploring how it functions and what happens if things go wrong. Performing experiments in the lab also helps to enhance students' understanding of the subject, but students in the early years are unfamiliar with the instruments beforehand. So developing the interactive virtual software allowed students to both practice the experiments before going into the lab or for reviewing it later whenever they need to. The benefits of using the software include allowing students to interactively practice the experiment virtually before going into the lab. So once they are in there, the labs will run much more efficiently and effectively. For example, in the virtual microbiology lab, students are often asked to transfer bacteria from one plate to another aseptically. But for the new learner, even a relatively simple method such as this requires lots of steps and precautions in order to reduce contamination in the process. By preparing and understanding these steps, once in the actual lab, students are able to work much more competently and with greater agility, thereby promoting a more successful outcome. Students will continue to use these basic lab techniques in advanced courses throughout their program so that the virtual labs can provide a handy resource for review at any time later as necessary. Finally, the interactive labs provide a multimodal sensory learning approach to the material, which incorporates many of the senses as part of the learning process rather than just reading text on the page.